Hello and welcome to this overview video of the 3102 final exam. In this video, I'm going to review all the parts of the exam and show you some sample questions. Don't worry if you can't get all the sample questions. I'll also include a Word document in this lesson so that you can download them and practice them more on your own. But remember, you can always pause this video to practice the questions. There's 3 parts of the multiple choice exam that adds up to 90 points. In addition, there are 10 points of a writing component, and I'll talk about that in a different video. But today, we're just going to focus on the 3 multiple choice parts. They are vocabulary, irregular verbs. There are 20 items for 20 points in the vocabulary section, and they'll cover all the vocabulary that we studied, lists A, B, and C. Then there's the grammar portion, which has 40 items in it for 40 points. And in this section, we'll cover past, present, future, passive voice, questions, past and present perfect, and modals. In the final section, reading, there will be 2 new readings where you'll need to identify the main idea and details and be able to understand vocabulary in context. There are 30 items in this section. Let's start with the first section, vocabulary, irregular verbs. There are 2 parts to this section. The first part will ask you to choose the correct irregular verb to complete each sentence and use only 1 verb for each item. There will be 10 like that for 10 points. And in the second section, it will ask you to match the irregular verb with the correct definition, and there will be 10 matching items, 10 verbs and 10 definitions for that section, which totals 10 points. In the grammar section, there are going to be several items where you need to choose the correct tense. So you'll have to know when to use and how to form the following tenses: present, present progressive, future, past, present perfect, and past perfect. Here's an example. In these items, the items are asking you to choose the correct verb, simple and past, present, future. It could be any of them. So there are 10 items like this, and these are 3 examples. So I'll just go through the first example, but you can pause the video and try to do all 3 examples. The answers are on the next slide. Example 1 says, he blank for 10 minutes every night before going to bed. The answer is C, reads, because it's describing an activity that happens over and over again, which we use the present for that. Now, there'll be other materials in this final exam study lesson where you can review the uses of all the different tenses that we've studied. So if you want to pause and try to do these items, you can. If not, in the next slide, you'll see the answers. Here are the answers for these 3 sample items. You can check if you tried them yourself. But basically, you need to use the context of the sentence to figure out what tense to use. The next section of the grammar will have 5 questions where you have to select the best option to complete each question correctly. And this is, in my opinion, very simple because you're just filling in the correct question word. So for example, person A says blank, have you lived in Belize? And person B says, I've lived here for 11 years. Okay, and obviously the answer is how long? Letter C. There will be 10 items that ask you to fill in the blanks with the correct version of the present and past perfect. Here's some examples. Again, you can always pause and try the examples yourself, and then you're going to see the answers in the next slide. Example 4 says, I wanted to take the bus to work, but it blank by already. And number 5 says, blank the book yet? I want to talk to you about it. And I'm going to turn the slide so you can see the answers The answer to number 4 is C, and to number 5 is also C. Again, there's review videos in the online portal where you can go back and review the present and past perfect. There will be 10 items that ask you to select the correct completion for each sentence for passive verbs. Okay? So again, here's 3 examples. You can pause and try to do these yourself. And please refer to the online materials about the passive to study this form of the verb. The next slide will show the answers. And there they are. You can check your answers by pausing. The next section of grammar will be about modals, and you'll need to select the correct modal for each sentence. There are 5 items like this for 5 points. Again, you can pause now and try to do these yourself, and on the next slide, it will show you the answers in bold. Here are the answers. You can check and see if you got them correct. The final part of the exam, there will be a reading section. You'll have 2 articles to read. For each of these articles, you'll have to choose the main idea of the article from multiple choices, answer true-false questions about details in the article, and then choose the best synonym or definition from multiple choices for vocabulary found in the article. And there's an example there. So to do those vocabulary items, you need to be able to understand the word in context. And a great strategy is to try to replace the word, the underlined word from the article, with your best guessed answer from the multiple choice. Now here's a few reading test strategies. For the true-false questions, look for keywords in the questions and find the exact paragraph and sentence where the information was taken from. Don't try to remember. Verify with what's in the reading. Also, don't try to answer the question based on information you know or that you think is true. It's not a question, the true-false is not asking opinion or what you already know. It's asking true-false based on the reading. That's very important. Watch out for negatives like not, no, and never, which can change the meaning of a sentence. Another strategy for the vocabulary questions, use context clues in the sentence and the paragraph. Look at the word in the article, not just in the test item. That's super important. You have to look at the word in the context of the paragraph in the article. Substitute your chosen answer into the sentence in the paragraph to make sure it makes sense. Well, that's the end of my video about reviewing for the final exam. Now you know what all the parts of the final exam are going to be, and it's your job to study all the materials that I'll be uploading to the online system.